going to kick this off, and normally I don't do this. I right away throw it open to the members. But given what has happened this past week, I have a speech, and I'm not going to deliver the whole speech at all, just about 3 minutes worth, that I typically give to different groups. But given what has happened in Washington this week, this part needs to be restated. One of my favorite quotes, and you all have seen this: knowledge is power and ignorance is slavery. Benjamin Franklin said, quote, "A nation of well-informed men who have been taught to know and to prize the rights of God has given them cannot be enslaved. It is in the region of ignorance that tyranny begins," end quote. Thomas Jefferson said, quote, "If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be." The U.S. Constitution is our foundation for freedom. We have been told that the federal and Supreme Court judges have lifetime appointments. That is not true. The Constitution does not grant lifetime appointments to judges. Article 3, Section 1 states, quote, "The judges of both the Supreme and inferior court shall hold their offices during good behavior," end quote. Regarding the jurisdiction of Congress to impeach, Hamilton said in Federalist 65, page 265, quote, "Their jurisdiction extends to offenses proceeding from the misconduct of public men, or in other words, from the abuse or violations of some public trust. The offenses may properly be called political, since they relate chiefly to injuries done immediately to society itself," end quote. Justice Joseph Story, appointed to the Supreme Court by President James Madison and considered the founder of Harvard Law School and professor of laws. His contribution to the American law have caused him to be called the father of American jurisprudence. Story said, quote, "An impeachment is not so much designed to punish an offender as to secure the state against gross official misdemeanors. It touches neither his person nor his property, but simply divests him of his political capacity." Continuing the quote, "The offenses to which the power of impeachment has been and is ordinarily applied as a remedy are political offenses growing out of personal misconduct or gross neglect or usurpation or habitual disregard of public interest, unconstitutional opinions, attempts to subvert the fundamental laws, and introduce arbitrary power," end quote. A federal judge who makes rulings, my words, a federal judge who makes rulings based upon anything but the U.S. Constitution and those laws and treaties that flow from the U.S. constitutional authority is violating his oath of office. So when the Supreme Court judges such as Breyer, Ginsburg, and others who are consulting other countries' constitutions are legislating their personal interest and therefore should be removed from office. If a judge changes the original intent of the law or the U.S. Constitution, he is legislating, setting public policy, or imposing his own will. But remember what Justice Joseph Story said, quote, "The offenses to which the power of impeachment has been and is ordinarily applied as a remedy are political offenses growing out of usurpation or habitual disregard of public interest, unconstitutional opinions, attempts to subvert the fundamental laws, and introduce arbitrary power." We have seen that this week, and it is astounding. It is totally astounding. They have made unconstitutional, illegal opinions. And it is our legal and constitutional right to impeach. And there are 6 justices on the Supreme Court, several of whom should have been impeached long ago. But at this point, we have to stop and clarify the moment and not just strongly consider, but we must begin impeachment proceedings in the House of Representatives. Because, as Justice Scalia said yesterday, this endangers our democracy. Thank you.